All right, you're back. Thanks for stopping by. So this is the video where we're going to cover installing these scripting languages. So I want to dig right in. So first off, we've got to install or update PowerShell. You must remember Windows PowerShell is a command line tool developed by Microsoft that helps you automate mundane tasks on your system. Now, if you are an avid Windows user who uses PowerShell on a regular basis, you are going to want to use the most recent version of the tool, aren't you? Yeah. So there are actually several ways to install or update PowerShell on Windows 11. So here in this video, we're going to have a look at every single one of them. You ready? The Windows Package Manager, or Wing-It. It's a command line program that you can use to install apps on Windows. So this eliminates the need to search for the app on the web and go through the tedious installation process. So just by using the Wing-It command, well, it's just one of the more straightforward ways to install or update PowerShell in Windows 11. So here are the steps that you can follow. Click the magnifying glass on the taskbar, or just press Win+S to open the search menu. Type Command Prompt in the search box at the top. Select Run as Administrator to open Command Prompt with administrative privileges. Select Yes when the User Account Control UAC prompt appears. Then you can copy and paste the command that I'm giving you here. You see it on the screen in the console. Press Enter to view all the available versions of the PowerShell app. So please note down the ID associated with the PowerShell app you want to get. And then run the command that you see here on the screen to install the PowerShell app. Replace app ID in the command with the actual app ID noted in that last step. You did do that. And then wait for Wing-It to download and install PowerShell on your PC, then exit the terminal window. So after all that, the PowerShell app should be available for use. All right, so another way to install or update PowerShell on Windows is to download its installer package from the GitHub website. And here's how you can do all that. Open up your preferred web browser, navigate to GitHub's PowerShell page. Select the latest PowerShell version from the GitHub page. Scroll down to the Assets section, download the MSI file onto your PC. Open the installer package and click Next. Specify the installation folder and click Next. Click Next again. Now check the boxes that read Enable Updating PowerShell through Microsoft Update or WSUS and use Microsoft Update when I check for updates. Then click Next. Click the Install button and follow the on-screen instructions to complete the process. All right, so that's about it for that. Once you complete the steps, you'll have the latest version of PowerShell at your fingertips. So the PowerShell app is also available on the Microsoft Store. To install or update the PowerShell app using the Microsoft Store, just use these steps. Open the Microsoft Store app on your PC. Use the search bar at the top to locate the PowerShell app on the store. And click the Update button to update the PowerShell app. Now, if you don't have the app, just go ahead and click the Install button to get it. Cool, so you've made it this far. What happens next? Installing and using Python on Windows is very simple. The installation procedure involves just 3 steps. You download the binaries, you run the executable installer, and then add Python to path environmental variables. Right? So to install Python, you need to download the official Python executable installer. Next, you need to run this installer and complete the installation steps. Then finally, you can configure the path variable to use Python from the command line. You can choose the version of Python that you wish to install. Now, it is recommended to install the latest version of Python, but that's up to you. So for step 1, downloading the Python installer binaries, open the official Python website in your web browser, navigate to the Downloads tab for Windows, then choose the latest Python 3 release. So in my example here, I'm choosing the latest Python 3.7.3. Now click on the link to download Windows x86 executable installer if you're using a 32-bit installer. In case your Windows installation is a 64-bit system, then just go ahead and download Windows x86 64 executable installer. You know what to do. And for step 2, run the executable installer. So once the installer is downloaded, run the Python installer. Here you check the Install Launcher for All Users checkbox. Now further, you may check the Add Python 3.7 to Path checkbox, and that'll include the interpreter in the execution path. And then select Customize Installation. Here you can choose the optional features by checking the checkboxes on the screen. Documentation, PIP, TCL, TK, and idle to install tkinter and idle. Python Test Suite to install the standard library test suite of Python. And install the global launcher for .py files. So this makes it easier to start Python. Install for all users. All right, so then click Next, and it takes you to Advanced Options available while installing Python. So here you select the Install for All Users and Add Python to Environment Variables checkboxes. So optionally here, you can select the associate files with Python, create shortcuts for installed applications, and some other advanced options here, but you got to make note of the Python installation directory displayed here in this step, because you're going to need it for the next step. So after selecting the advanced options, then you click Install to start the installation. Once the installation is complete, you will see a Python Setup Successful window. Now, this is what we've been talking about. And for step 3, you add Python to environmental variables. So this is an optional last step. But this is the step in the installation process to add Python path to the system environment variables. Now, it's done to access Python through the command line. Now, in case you have added Python to environment variables while setting the advanced options during the installation procedure, of course, you can avoid this step. But this step is actually done manually like this. In the Start menu, search for Advanced System Settings. Select View Advanced System Settings. In the System Properties window, click on the Advanced tab, then click on the Environment Variables button. Locate the Python installation directory on your system. And if you follow the steps exactly like I showed you, well, Python's going to be installed in these file paths. Now, the folder name may be a bit different from Python 3.7-3.2 if you installed a different version, but you got to just look for a folder whose name starts with Python. And then append the following entries to path variable like I'm showing you here up on the screen. So now it's time to verify the Python installation. You've now successfully installed Python 3.7.3 on Windows 10. You can verify if the Python installation is successful either through the command line or through the idle app. And that gets installed along with the installation. So search for the command prompt and type Python, and you can see that Python 3.7.3 is successfully installed. Cool. Now, an alternate way to reach Python is to search for Python in the Start menu and click on idle, Python 3.7 64-bit. Now, you can start coding in Python using the Integrated Development Environment. That's what we're calling idle. So guess what, my friends? You are now ready to start developing Python apps in your Windows 10 system. So why don't we go ahead and install Java? The Java Development Kit, or JDK, is software used for Java programming, along with the Java Virtual Machine, or JVM, and the JRE, or Java Runtime Environment. So the JDK includes the compiler and class libraries, allowing developers to create Java programs executable by the JVM and JRE. So you want to first check to see if Java is installed. So before installing the Java Development Kit, check to see if a Java version is already installed on your Windows system. And you can follow the steps up here on the screen. Open a command prompt by typing CMD in the search bar and press Enter. Run the command that you see on the screen, and the command outputs the Java version on your system. So if Java hasn't been installed, the output is a message stating that Java isn't recognized as an internal or external command. Easy enough. So now we'll need to download the latest Java Development Kit installation file for Windows 10 to have the latest features and bug fixes. So using your preferred web browser, navigate to the Oracle Java Downloads page. Once on the Downloads page, click the x64 installer download link under the Windows category, and you might have to wait a moment for the download to complete. Then after downloading the installation file, proceed with installing Java on your Windows system. You can follow these steps. Run the downloaded file, so you double-click the downloaded file to start the installation. Then you configure the installation wizard. So after running the installation file, the installation wizard welcome screen appears. Click Next to proceed to the next step. Choose a destination folder for the Java installation files, or stick to the default path. Click Next to proceed. Wait for the wizard to finish the installation process until the successfully installed message appears. Good, so click Close to exit the wizard. All right, so now it's time to set Java environment variables, and this enables program compiling from any directory. To do that, just follow these steps. Add Java to system variables. So you've got to open the Start menu and search for Environment Variables. Select the Edit the System Environment Variables result. Now in the System Properties window under the Advanced tab, click Environment Variables. Once under the System Variables category, select the Path variable and click Edit. Click the New button and enter the path to the Java bin directory. Click OK to save the changes and exit the variable editing window. All right, we're not done yet. See, some applications require the Java home variable, so you just follow the steps here to create the variable. In the Environment Variables window, under the System Variables category, click the New button, and you will create a new variable. Name the variable Java_home. So in the variable value field, paste the path to your Java JDK directory and click OK. Confirm the changes by clicking OK in the Environment Variables and System Properties windows. All right, my friends, we got to wrap it up here. But you've learned all about installing scripting languages like PowerShell, Python, and Java. That's pretty cool, huh? We're going to be able to put them to good use, but I'll see you in the next video.